Hi there, lovely stitchers. I hope you're all well. So I'm surrounded by stuff. So we've done 3 shows on the bounce, and then we've got another one in a couple of weeks' time. So we went up to, no, across from us, I think. I'm trying to get my geography right. To Newmarket. Then we went up to Scotland, to Glasgow. Then we came back down to Birmingham, to the NEC. And in a couple of weeks, we're going to Harrogate, to the Knit and Stitch. If you haven't got your tickets for Harrogate, by the way, the code is Moonlight Stitches, all one word, and I think it's all uppercase, and you just pop that in at checkout and you get a little bit of a discount. Don't ask me how much, couldn't tell you. So I'm surrounded by stock that we're restocking, stock that we're sort of got and don't want to take right down to the thread shed. I've got the stand, some of the bits and bobs off the stand. I am absolutely surrounded by stuff. Not good for creating, I can tell you. Anyway, this week we're going to be doing honeycomb darning. I hope you can see that okay, because I've not got the lights on or anything either. So yeah, honeycomb darning. So enjoy, and hopefully I'll see you at Harrogate. So let's do a honeycomb darn. So I've popped my piece of cloth onto my little darning mushroom. It's not very tight. I've just tied it on with a bit of thread. And I'll explain why I don't want it very tight as we go. I've got my trusty Aqua Trick marker just to make some shapes. I want to talk about the needles because I've had a couple of questions. Look, you can use a long darning needle or a milliner's needle. Absolutely. The only I struggle with these because I find them too long. That's my only. That is a personal thing. Nothing to do with how good or bad the needle is or whether it's right or wrong. So my go-to is always a chenille needle, and they're a little bit shorter. They've got a very, very sharp point and a long eye, and I need a long eye so I can see the thread. But that's just because that is my personal choice. It's not right or wrong. As long as your needle gets the thread through and the point will go through your fabric, anything will do. It's, there's no right or wrong. I'm not here to tell you, you must do this. I'm just giving you the sort of idea of what I would do. I'm going to use some, this is pearl cotton, or cotton pearl, or cotton pearl, I don't really know. It's a number 12, so it's quite fine on this. And bearing in mind, the stitches that I'm doing are for decorative purposes. If I was going to do, say, darn a sock, and it was 100% wool sock, I would probably try and match the thickness of the yarn that was used originally. That said, the make, do and mend ethos, you use what you've got, don't you? So let's do a honeycomb darn. I just thought I'd just bring that up, just because I've had a couple of questions over the last couple of days, and people asking me why I'd prefer this over a friction pen. The reason I like the water soluble marker is because I don't have to get the iron out. Simple as. And also, if I've got quite a nice textured surface, I don't want to flatten it with the iron, so a little spritz of water is always good. Okay, I'm just going to draw as if I've got my mend that I've got to do in the centre here. So I'm going to just do a bit of a wiggly line along there, just to give it some shape. Okay, you probably can only just make that out. Yeah, So first up, thread my needle. Let's get one strand. Might have a bit too long thread here. Let's have a look. Yeah, let's just cut that down. Just going to cut it down. I don't want a lazy tailor thread. I don't like working with too long a thread. It gets too tangled. It starts to deteriorate. It's just not. Even though you might think, oh, that's great. I can use it and keep and no start and finishes. It's always worthwhile having a shorter thread. And I'm just putting a bit of thread wax on just to straighten it out a bit and make it easier to come through my cloth. Okay, so this might be a bit too big a needle actually, but we'll work with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a running stitch all the way around my hole. So imagine I've got a hole here. I'm just going to enclose it with a running stitch. This needle is too fat, but and I'm just going to do a I'll leave my end loose, and I'm just going to swap my needle down to a finer needle. I think I've got a 22 there. I'm just going to use a 24. Generally, when choosing needles, the higher the number, the finer the needle. Okay, that's better. I know that's going to be better. And I just want to make my running stitches quite fine. They don't have to be even. This is just a starting point to stop your threads running. Oh, that's, the fingers aren't working this morning. It's quite early morning. Just see where a longer needle would work. It would come out here, and you'd be able to pull it a little bit easier. I'm not worried about that. Yeah, my hands take a while to get going in the morning these days. Don't know about you. Obviously, let me just make sure I'm not off the screen. Obviously, I'm of a certain age. You younger girls and ladies and lads and lasses and all that. Probably don't have that problem. I've tried all sorts in the past. I've tried those compression gloves, and I just can't work in them. I just feel like I can't feel the cloth. Oh, am I coming undone down here? No. But, you know, the reason I don't want it too tight is because I'm doing a lot of in and outs, and I know that sounds like it's bonkers, don't it? Because I'm always in and out with the stitching. But I'm making a longer stitch when I'm doing the next stage, so. But as always, you have it as tight as you like. And also, you don't really need to put it on a darning mushroom if you don't want. My stitches are about what, 1/8 of an inch, 3 or 4 millimeters, something like that. Try not to pull too tight and ruckle your fabric. Try and keep it flat. If you were darning on a wool sock, you'd want it quite stretched. Not stretched, but, you know, flat. Nearly there. Oh, I'm wondering if you can see the thread. You can. Just come up over there. Just going to go up and down again. Okay. So, honeycomb stitch. It's basically a blanket stitch. Okay. And depending on how you stitch your blanket stitch, I'll do it my way. Some people say I do it upside down, but I kind of feel like it's how I've been taught. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure why I do it this way, but you know, that's the way I do it. So, blanket stitch. I have covered this in other videos, but I want to start with my the tops of my blanket, if you like, that way, out here, and the stick here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down into my cloth and come up a little stitch. Okay, and then I'm going to make sure my thread is around the back of my needle. I'll pull. What have I done there? Hang on. Oh dear me. Ignore that stitch. Don't know what I did there. I didn't need to wrap it round. That was it. Oh dear. Sorry. So I've just gone down and come up into that stitch there. It's like I say, early morning. Sorry about that. I'm not going to cut that out. So, right, to make my blanket stitch, this is the start of my blanket stitch. I'm going to go down here to my running stitch line, and I'm going to come up a stitch. I'm not worried about the distance. I probably need a bit more distance actually. Let's just go. Otherwise you're not going to see. Okay, so I've come, and then this is where I want to be, behind my needle, and my cloth is coming undone. So I'm just gonna, okay. And so you've got like a number 7 shape. So again, I'm going to go down and up into the center. Thread behind the needle. And I'll do that the whole way around. I'm going to have to tighten up my cloth in a moment. I'm going around this whole shape with my blankets. And I'm not worried about whether or not my stitches are exactly the same size or depth. This is a darn, a visible mend. They're not meant to be perfect. Well, in my opinion, they're not. They're there for a purpose, and that is to mend a hole. So I will go all the way around. I'm hooked up. There we go. All the way around. Keep on going. Keeping your stitches nice and flat. Don't pull them too tight. You don't want wrinkles in your work. If you're doing this on a hoop, same principle applies. As long as you keep your thread behind your needle when it's come up through your cloth. See, that one's got quite a big stitch. A bit bigger than the rest, but I don't mind. Adds to the character. So I'll carry on doing that, and I'll come back when I'm near the end, and we'll sort that bit out. I'll show you that bit now. I did think about when we're going around this corner bend type thing. So you want to do your stitch and then come in a little bit smaller, tighter at the top, so you can go round evenly. Can you see? So I'm just making my stitch at the top a little bit closer. So I'm just going a bit closer to that one. And then I'll come back out again when I get to the other side. So it's kind of like the spokes of a wheel as they go in narrower towards the centre. Right. If you were to run out of thread, all you'd need to do is go through to the back and leave it for now. Oh, well, finish it off and leave it. But I wouldn't do that until I'd taken it off the mushroom. I'd leave my thread on the top and then take it through once I've finished and I'm taking everything off the darning mushroom. Just makes life easier, so you're not on and off the mushroom all the time. There may be some really clever people out there that can finish it off without even seeing it on the back, but I can't. Stitch might be a bit too close together to that one. I'm losing my thread. See, I'm just trying to keep it a little bit flat. Keep going. I'm nearly at the end, but I'm also running out of thread. You see? Oops. Just thread that back on, try and keep going. I have to actually go through to the back because it's a blanket stitch and it won't hold if I don't. Just see. This, I'm going to have to also change my bit of thread for an elastic band. I'll go and get one. I was too lazy to go and find one. That's the honest truth. Yeah, I've run out of. So with this stitch, if I leave that there, I won't be able to do what I want to do. So I'm going to have to just pop it through to the back. and I'll sort it out. So to just go through on a blanket stitch, you just want to go through the back right next to the little stitch you've just done. Yeah, I'm not very good at this, am I, with it on there? Oh, I've sewn through that. Oh, right, okay. There we go. That just makes life a little bit easier. So I'll just thread up again. I'll sort this mushroom out. Because I will, you know what they say, don't you? When you're too lazy to do something, it always takes longer. What do they say? Something in haste. I don't know what's the saying. Anyway, excuse me, I've got a frog in my throat. I'll go and find an elastic band. Alrighty, so we're back on with another thread, and I'm nearly at the end. And I just want to say what I've done here. I forgot that I came in to start my new thread. I came in over here in the centre and came up really close at the corner again of my stitch and carried on. But because I've got this thread here, I've kind of incorporated it. You'll find that they will get themselves in there somehow, some way, and then and incorporate themselves. So if that happened, work with it. Don't think, oh, I've got to untangle it. I always incorporate it in, wind it in. Just adds stability. So right, we've come to the end. So I'm going to go down, excuse me, down and up to meet that first stitch. Yarn round the back of my needle and pull. Okay. I've got quite a few bits of thread there, so I'll just move them out of the way. So we're going to go up the next row. Okay, so I've come up and I want to go across, do about halfway with my stitch and up and take a stitch, thread in front. Okay, so you've made a little stitch across the top of your blanket stitch. Then what you're going to do is you're going to come down and behind this stitch here, between the two legs and beneath the stitch across, and then come up. Okay, thread behind your needle and pull through. Let's just move those out of the way. I think you're starting again. So you should be kind of in the middle of your stitch. If you feel like your stitches are too close together, you can skip a stitch and go into that next stitch. Okay, stitch a box if you like. So you're making like a little honeycomb. Do you see? So I'm going to miss that stitch, go into that stitch. If you'd made your stitches bigger, go into every single stitch. But mine are quite small. Just move you out of the way so we can see. Do you see? Ouch, just stabbed myself with this needle. I'm making another little box. I'm missing that stitch and I'm going into that one. Missing that stitch, going into that one. If I've got a bigger stitch and I think, no, I want it to be a bit smaller, I'll just go into that next stitch, the one next to it. See, my stitches are getting a bit big, so I'm going to go in to the next one, into the next one next to it. Oops, sorry, just hit you. So these stitches are a little bit bigger than the ones around the bend. You make the call. It's your decision. I'm just going to come out a bit bigger. Stitch. So you keep going. And you see I'm going to go smaller now. My stitch will probably go a bit smaller because my first round is close together there. What's happened here? I've got a knot. I've got a knot. No, it's just tangled up. But then again, I've got a bigger stitch. When I get round this bend, I'm going to do smaller stitches. I'm going to get smaller stitches. So we'll go into that one and make a stitch, miss one, and go into the next one. Make a stitch, miss one, go into the next one. Miss one, go into the next one. And then I'll be able to miss that stitch, go into that stitch. But I may or may not. I'll see what my... So you've gone around that little bend. Is it wanting to focus? And you can't tell that you've missed stitches. So I doubt whether anybody will be looking that close. But these stitches are quite large, so I'm going to go into every single one. And I hope you're getting the idea now. And it does start to go smaller, obviously, because you're going in. See, that one is quite close, so I'm going to miss that one out and go over here. Oh. But that one's not. And it's just about making the decision as you come to it. There's no set way to do it, really. If I think my stitches look too close together, I'll move them. I'll make them bigger. I'll skip a stitch. Just going to untangle that because I don't want it over there. We're kind of making like a little honeycomb pattern. So it's alternating your stitches. We'll go around this bend again. And we'll do exactly the same thing. We'll start to make the stitches a little bit tighter together. Do you see how my thread caught? I'm leaving it. Just going to keep on going. I might need to skip a stitch. I'm just having a look. Just there, I think. Pull you in. and I'm going up to meet that first stitch, and I'll leave that because it's got twisted in, but I'll go along. So we're making the next stitch along, we're going along and missing a stitch. We're going to miss a stitch. No, let's come up. So we're going to come along into the center of the next square, and I'm going to come up where that thread went in and wrap around. No, I'm not. Oh my gosh, I'm going straight across, aren't I? I'm not wrapping around. I wrap around this one. So I'm going to go in, wrap around the back of my thread there, and come out. Right, I'm getting a bit twisted up. Let's just, thing with pearl cotton is because it starts to twist on itself. You do need to just untwist it a little bit. Okay. So I can go into that stitch, come up. These are quite big stitches, but I want to be going into the next stitch in the center of it. So can you see the center of the square? I want to go into the center of it. And kind of see the honeycomb coming along. And yes, my stitches aren't even sizes. Yours might well be. As always, it's a personal choice. Oh gosh, haven't been a chatting, have we? So where are we at? I'm going around this corner, so I'm going to make my decisions of how I want my stitches to be. I'm going to miss that stitch, go into the next one, and come round. Once you get into the rhythm, you know exactly what you're doing. Come round again, and I'll probably meet that stitch up there. So I'm going to just go centre, and where I know I'm next to, I'm going up and behind that other stitch, so I won't come down that area again. I could probably meet my stitches, meet this one in the middle now. So I'm going to go into the centre of that and up through the centre of that one. Keep going. And then, yeah, so where are we at? What have I been doing? I feel like I might have been to the SEC in Glasgow since I last spoke to you, and the NEC in Birmingham, and I know that I spoke to a lot of people about my little stitch books, and that they were going to come and have a look over here on the way YouTube. So hello to you newbies who have found your way here, and you're probably looking at this and thinking, this is not the stitch book. Oh dear. You have to look for the playlist on the Through the Garden Gate, or what was the other one? A Walk Down Memory Lane, or Stitch Down Memory Lane. I'm going to have to put another bit of thread on. So I'm going to go down and up through there. Or if you're looking for the little scroll, that was called a winter scroll, or winter scroll. I will try and remember to get Heather to to link them. I do forget, and if I do forget, pop it in the comments, and I'll be able to send you in the right direction. And if you did meet me or Heather in one of the at one of the shows, give us a shout out and let us know if you're making along. Oh gosh, can't see the thread. I've got a very croaky voice. I've had a dreadful cold. I started it when we was going into the Birmingham show at the NEC. Oh, right, coming along here. And I had a couple of days where I felt dreadful, but I had to just keep on going. Oh, it's no fun. It's no fun. Right, so I'm carrying on. Ooh. Make that thread a little bit longer because I'm not going to be able to keep it, get it woven in at this stage in the game. So I'll take it back through. So carrying on. Just do a little next stitch. Yeah, so I had a lovely time at both the shows. Gorgeous people. Very, very busy at the NEC on the Saturday. Probably a little bit too busy for me, for my liking. And getting a chance to chat with lovely people. Oh, it's like the best thing. Right, so I'm going to come up here, but I'm not going to do the honeycomb as such. I'm going to just come up and across because I've already got the sticks in. I'm just going to do like a little overstitch. So just making sure that I'm kind of looking and getting my distances how I want them. You see how that's wrapped itself, that's wound itself in, woven itself in. That's exactly what I want. If you feel like it's too, you can see it too much, you can just pop it, pull it out. I'm just going to move mine down a bit and have a look. Yeah, can see it too much. So what I'll do is I'll push that back through. It interferes too much with the aesthetic. So I'm just kind of doing like a fake honeycomb backstitch, not backstitch, blanket stitch. And I'm just taking it by eye. I am literally just doing it by eye and thinking, yeah, that's it. Right, I'm going to finish it at that. I'm going to go all the way through to the back. Let's just take this off. Try not to clank it too much and go all the way through to the back. Okay, I'm just going to finish off the stitches in the usual way. Just try to weave them but don't try to make a lump, because if you imagine it darned against your skin, you don't want to have a lump of a knot or something, because it will, even though it might be the tiniest little knot, it'll probably rub. So I'm just going to come off there, and then I'm just going to have a look at this here, what we've got. And I'm going to go and neaten everything up. Take this thread off that. I'm going to come back through with a couple of these threads. I'll show you what I'm going to do, and then I'll do it, and then, because this video is probably silly lengths of time, so I'm going to come back down. Oh, actually, can I pull that way? Where was that? No, I'll just make a little stitch. Hold on, I won't. I'm going to pull it through there. Okay, let's have a look at the others. That one can be snipped off. So can that. That got wound in. So nice. So the front looks like a little honeycomb. The back, I will weave these in like I did with the first one. In fact, that one's already been woven in. So let's get rid of that. We'll just weave these stitches in and we can have a little look. These don't have to be super. Oh. You know when I say these needles are easier to thread? I say it every time and then I think I can't thread it. Okay, so we're going. I'm just literally doing a little stitch and then I might come back again just to anchor it. But I'm not making a knot. Next one. Let's snip that off so it's not fluffy. So if you're watching this and you've not got your tickets for Harrogate Knit and Stitch, which is, I feel like it's the 20th of November. I feel like that's, let me just double check the date. Bear with me a second. Have a look. Dates. Right. So, yes. Harrogate Knitting and Stitch, Knit and Stitch it's called now, not Knitting and Stitching. Show is the 20th of November through to the 23rd of November. If you've not got your tickets, if you put the code Moonlight Stitches, all one word, all together, no gap, in capitals, I believe, at checkout, you'll get a little bit of discount on your ticket. And we are in Hall A or Hall 1, and we are stand number TG 400. So there we go. Look at that. That's lovely. Little, and it's quite sweet on the back as well. These are just where I've cast off, but as I say, that is really smooth. You don't want knots next to your skin. I know we're not making this as a darn exact as such, but we want to be making it as if we were. Right, so that's it. That's that done. I hope to see you at Harrogate, those of you who are able to come, and do come and say hello. Don't forget, if you are new and you've not subscribed yet, or if you've been here ages and you've still not subscribed, don't forget to subscribe. It is completely free, completely free. And give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to put in the comments all your nice thoughts. And I'll see you again soon. Happy stitching. Bye bye.